Questions tonight whether law enforcement officers are required to wear a mask.
A Johnson County, Kansas woman says she's upset after a traffic stop where a sheriff's deputy wasn't wearing one. KMBC 9's Emily Hallwick explains why for Chelsea Barker, it's personal.
Chelsea Barker knows she's lucky her father is still alive.
He was given a second chance at life.
Just 6 months ago, he had a bone marrow transplant. With the threat of COVID-19, her family isn't taking any chances.
We have to be extremely safe and completely isolated.
That's why she says a recent encounter with a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy was so upsetting.
All of a sudden saw the lights in my rearview mirror.
Barker put on her mask, but she says the deputy didn't.
They're supposed to serve and protect us. It was the one time in 5 months that I felt unsafe.
Her thoughts quickly turned to her father.
As I pulled away and I was driving back home, I just started sobbing.
She called the sheriff's office to voice her concerns.
And the lieutenant that I spoke with told me that law enforcement is exempt from the executive order.
The sheriff's office tells KMBC 9 at certain times deputies do have discretion to not wear a mask for officer safety. Barker hopes they'll consider more stringent rules.
Especially with Johnson County being a hot spot, that at least in Johnson County for the time being that the patrol officers wear a mask when doing traffic stops. That's all I wanted.
Emily Hallwick, KMBC 9 News.
The Sheriff's Department also tells us its staff makes every effort to follow the governor's mask order. The statement adds if a citizen has a specific request for a deputy to wear a mask, voicing that concern would be recommended so that a dialogue may occur. 410 new COVID-19 cases are being reported in the 9-county Kansas City area tonight. Missouri is reporting more than 2,000 new cases since yesterday. A backlog in test processing is one of the reasons for this spike. The percentage of positive tests in Missouri is now 10.8%. Kansas is at 17%, but Kansas also has changed how it's reporting testing, so it may be a reason why that number is so high. School districts are just weeks away from starting the new academic year, but today Missouri Governor Parson got to hear what some local district leaders are thinking these days. Parson met with 10 area district superintendents at North Kansas City High School. The governor is leaving it up to districts to decide reopening plans, and those superintendents have some concerns moving forward.
Some of them would like more guidance from the state level. What does that guidance look like, and how do we get a uniformity guidance when you got so many different health departments, especially Kansas City region?
North Kansas City Schools have decided to start its new year September 8th. Parents can choose whether to send their kids back to class in person or online. The district says it will be flexible.
Tonight, Johnson County families logged on to take part in a virtual town hall meeting on the health department's recommendations as schools reopen. The county recommends moving into remote learning based on the percentage of new positive cases over a 2-week period. The county health director says ideally the percentage rate would be 5% or below.
And for those students that want to be in school, this is not the time to host house parties. It's not the time to not wear masks.
Schools in the county ultimately have the authority to decide how and when they want to open. Another word of warning from somebody who spent weeks in the hospital with coronavirus. KMBC 9's Alan Shope sat down with a COVID survivor who says everyone needs to be cautious.
I had a fever that morning. I was having a little bit of trouble breathing.
After a business trip in March, Eric Goodman wasn't feeling so hot.
Shortness of breath, high fever, kind of felt like somebody was standing on my chest.
At just 44, he nearly died from COVID-19.
When I woke up, I remember being very confused.
It was 4 weeks in a hospital, 13 of those days on a ventilator, unconscious in a medically induced coma.
I was intubated and sedated 28 minutes after arriving in the emergency room.
Family and friends thought he might not ever wake up.
I was pretty bad. They actually called my wife up to the hospital a couple times because they thought I wasn't going to make it.
Eric says he lost 50 pounds, had to learn to walk again through rehabilitation, and is still unsure about any future side effects.
I'm still kind of wondering about what the long-term side effects are going to be. I know we're learning so much about this disease each day.
Eric says he's not angry about contracting the virus, and he says he never really feared it, but adds it's something no one would want to go through.
I had no pre-existing health conditions, and all of a sudden I went from being extremely healthy to laying in a hospital bed wondering what the heck was going on.
In Shawnee, Alan Shope, KMBC 9 News.
Eric is now working from home. He says learning to walk again after a month in a hospital bed has been the most difficult thing. Former presidential candidate Herman Cain has died of complications from coronavirus. Cain was a Republican candidate in the 2012 election. 2 weeks ago, he attended President Trump's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He had been serving as co-chair of Black Voices for Trump. Kane was 74.
More than 150,000 Americans have now died from coronavirus, more than anywhere else.
ABC's Rena Roy reports more and more young people are testing positive across the country.
Heartbreaking scenes continue unfolding across our nation. Florida's youngest COVID-19 victim, just 9 years old.
Just really, really happy. She made friends very easily. She was perfect.
An internal FEMA memo obtained by ABC News shows the rate of new cases is going down in the U.S., but deaths are up, with a staggering 26% increase in the last week alone. Florida seeing a record number of deaths 3 days in a row.
We are the global hotspot, and we have mismanaged this virus in a way that I think much of the world simply can't believe.
Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says he's seeing troubling trends in Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana.
You may be getting into the same sort of trouble with those states that the southern states got into trouble with.
This as more young people test positive. 28-year-old Myra Ramirez received a double lung transplant in Chicago after spending 6 weeks on a ventilator in the ICU. She was the first patient in the U.S. to go through the procedure after surviving COVID-19. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, indoor bars now shut down, with young adults making up more than 50% of new cases. Health experts pointing to gatherings at those bars.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
People are still talking about the president's tweet this morning where he suggested maybe postponing the November election. He also made up some unsubstantiated claims about mail-in voter fraud. The vice president talked about the president's suggestion.
I think the president has just expressed a real concern about the integrity of our election. And that's a concern that every Republican, Democrat, Independent should have.
Dates of federal elections are set by Congress, and even GOP leaders in Congress say there'll be no changes this year. The Constitution also mandates a new president must be inaugurated on January 20th of next year. Kansas Secretary of State Scott Schwab is reacting to this idea. In a statement to KMBC 9 News, he doesn't support any delay of the election. He wants the state congressional delegation to oppose any change. He writes, now is not the time to act in fear, but to show the world we are courageous.